sunshine and the rain. You can listen to my music just to ease the pain. You can cop the dopest ride, you can take the train. Whichever pleases you, do what I do, cause it's real funk appeal. Like a 24-karat gold grill, make some brothers feel untouchable when they yawning. I give thanks to God, I never wanna feel the ride or the reaper of the sword in my life. I blaze it, Coolio, spit the bad times out the tinted windows. Lean to the side when the ride. Got to put your pride in the bag, leave it with the stinking trash like a rash. Make you itch when you got it in your grips. Life will throw you screwballs and curveballs without the vitamin that's sweet without the sin in your life. Ain't nobody selling you a dream with the cream. You's affiliated with Kentucky when you scream. I'ma spit it raw uncut. Nobody wants to be a mutt. I'ma strut when the time is right. The time is right. Tick tock, the clock goes. You know I got to represent wherever I go. I'm all about my passions and my family. I'm all about making it through with my sanity. Y'all feel me? Now tell me if you want to swerve with me. We can take a long walk down these Kentucky streets. We can ride with the top back. Cruise if you like that. Smile cause you're so fat. I like to lie.
Family, what's good? This is another episode of the Why Not Podcast. As always, I appreciate you tuning in and joining us. Feel free to find us anywhere where you find podcasts in these podcast streets: iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud. We are also on iHeartRadio, and we enjoy reviews of the 5-star caliber. Every time you do that, it gets us in front of even more people, which means you have even more friends, which is good for everybody because love is all around. That's all I get, right? Feel free to write in at the Why Not Podcast at gmail.com and check in with the other show I'm proud to be a part of, Black Astronauts. And right now we're running a campaign because by the time you hear this, we'll be on our way to a wonderful event called Dragon Con, where hopefully our fearless leader, Aaron B, will be in an Ewok outfit. For more information, check that podcast out. Listen, today is a day that people have asked me about for a while, and one of the most popular episodes that we've done is shout out to Brother Ty as well as Murph from 35th of Kentucky. It, of course, and 321 Podcast is the story that I told about possibly one of my most public failures in life. And that story we will get into. But part of that story, an important part, is that I, your host that you know so well, was part of an R&B singing group. 5 of us in these streets, harmonizing, trying to save the world from bad music at one point. And, you know, we had a great time doing it, and I've mentioned these brothers a lot on the show, and I just wanted an excuse to get us all together. So today we have 3 of the 5, myself included, and I will start to the left with the brother that has been on the show before. He was literally on the first Why Not Podcast. And if you're looking down your feed and saying, Teddy, I don't see that, there's a reason why you don't see it. Because I didn't really know how to work the equipment at that point. We didn't have much of a show structure. The sound was bad, but there was good content in there, you know. So shout out to that. But none other than my partner, young Titus. What's going on with you, brother?
What's going on?
Chilling.
Good to be here.
Chilling. Welcome back, man.
Yes,
Welcome
sir.
back. Where can the people not find you?
They can't.
Okay, good. Nothing's changed. That's good to know. All right, and the other member, we are now inundating into the Why Not Podcast family. My brother I mentioned on Black Astronauts, I was just in his wedding not that long ago. Shout out to Cincinnati. Who knew, by the way, that Cincinnati had beaches? Like, what? That's crazy. And right. And man, we grew up together. We were in the group together. It's just my guy. He is doing really good things in the Cincinnati area as well that we'll get into. My brother, you know him well, Mr. Ben. What's going on, man?
What's going on with you, man?
Hey.
Thank you for having me, man.
Hey, thank you, sir. Thank you for being on. I'm the one that's honored. So Now, if you heard my intro, you probably heard me say that it was a 5-part harmony, which means that there were 5 members. And there's only 3 people on the mic. Teddy, what's going on? Well, if it makes you feel any better, we had the plan to have all 5 of us here. But in true Focus fashion, the other 2 members, which I would lovingly say the flakiest members of the group. Shout out to none other than Kappa Eric, as well as Yatho, aka Axel Rich. They just stood us up. I don't know how else to say it. I mean, they said, "Hey, we'll be here," and they're not here. So, any shade that I have throughout this whole episode, I don't want you listening in podcast world to think that I don't love these brothers. I do. But they gonna get this work. They gonna get this work one way or the other. That's so yeah. I guess shout out to them. Hope they all right. Blah 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 blah. All that stuff. But they stood us up. All right. So, man, this is long overdue, and I think there's a couple things that I wanted to ask you, brothers. That it's just been a long time, right? So we were known for what, 5-part harmony, right? That's what we did. Acapella, which is harder, but that's
don't need no music.
Yeah, and it also saved us money because we didn't have to buy a beat.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That's before we knew how to make them. What is it that, looking back, you remember about the whole experience of Focus and us singing together back in the day,
right? I think the immediate thing initially was that it kind of took off, and we weren't ready for it. Yeah. At least in the the small school that we was at.
Right.
It was like we couldn't travel 20 feet without somebody saying, "Sing the song. Can we have your autograph?" When the next time you gonna perform, type deal, and we kind of just looked at it as a talent show.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But, we kind of became like them people that was the singers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember a lot of days like this where we planned to rehearse and someone didn't show up or
somebody was
late.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, when it came down to performing, man, we killed it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I feel like we stepped it up. I reached out to a couple people from Eastern, from the high school, and I asked, is there any questions that you would have for Focus? Now, the structure of the group is everybody could sing, but typically the lead singer was Yatho himself, Chris, Axel Rich, who, if you do have a chance, check out his music. He's on iTunes, SoundCloud, under Axel Rich. He's a talented brother, even though he's really weird. He's good. So check him out. But when I asked if you had any questions, here's the questions I got back, right? One of the questions was, somebody asked, what was the performance that you remember most? What was the performance that you remember most? So before I answer, which performance? Because I like to point out that other than the talent show, we sang a wedding. We did some other stuff.
Shout out to Bowling Green.
Shout out to Bowling Green, Kentucky. Yeah. Which we'll talk about. Shout out to Bowling Green. But yeah, so what was it that stuck out to y'all as far as the performance and everything? What was it?
It had to be vaudeville.
Had to be vaudeville, right?
It had to be.
Had to be vaudeville.
Anytime you wear a black suit
with the white
butterfly
shirt on,
with it all the way open.
All right, and remember the year before you judge us, okay? This was 99, 2000, right? Was it 99, 2000, somewhere in there?
It might have been 98.
98,
Yeah.
That's right, junior and then senior.
Yeah.
Okay, you're right, 98, 99. So, 112 was popping, Jagged Edge, Drew Hill.
Absolutely.
Even Boyz II Men still had some buzz at the time.
It was the end of the groups. They was phasing them groups out around that time. It was definitely phasing them, you know, the 4-part, 5-part harmony out.
Yeah.
The only people they let even survive that, I think, was Jagged Edge and 112.
Yeah, because you were starting to hear a lot of the groups with the solos and then the 3-part, you know.
Yeah, yeah, because it was cheaper, I think.
Yeah,
is
got the
way they-
Next and artists like that coming at the time.
And you can control, like, the smaller groups, you know, get all them personalities and whatnot.
Yeah, of course. So I'll set it up and you correct me if I'm going wrong. So when you think back to high school or middle school, you all had some type of a talent show in that school. So, you know, and how would you describe our school in general? It was, I mean, Eastern was it was a school, right? I don't know how to describe, like, because for people that aren't familiar with Louisville, Eastern is in the east end of Louisville, but I mean, it was pretty diverse.
It was an eclectic
Definitely
mix.
Yeah.
diverse.
I mean, you got it was right around some of the most affluent neighborhoods around, but then they were busing in from
Right.
some of the most not affluent places in town.
Valid. So, you know, it was a good mix. A lot of brown people at the school.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that was good. So for our talent show, it was a fundraiser as well. And the way that they did it is instead of just having one talent show where everybody win or one person wins or whatever, they had a 3-night showcase so they could charge people 3 nights in a row to come and see people perform. And we were one of the, you know, the main attractions, if you will, because nobody was doing an R&B group.
Right.
You know, either cats were too cool or they just couldn't do it right. Henceforth, we stepped it up. So we did it, and let me tell you how I remember it, okay? And then you correct me. First night that we went out there, black suits, right? Butterfly collars. And when we were done with the performance, of which we sang, you remember?
If I Ever Fall in Love.
That's right. Shy If I Ever Fall in Love, a cappella. Afterwards, we threw the roses in the crowd.
Yes.
And the young ladies came up to get them, right? So the first time we did it, we literally saw as the curtain was closing, like, you know, girls going up trying to get the roses. It was the whole thing, right? Came to school the next day because it was like on a Wednesday or something. I don't know. Came to school the next day. Titus is smiling because, you know, it was a lot of love.
Yeah.
A lot of love.
More confidence. You know, the first night you go out there and you perform, you're like, we just don't want to mess up in front of everybody.
Yeah.
And you know,
Yeah.
you kill it.
And we was in our usual fashion. People was late. People didn't have what they were supposed to be wearing.
Yep. Stressful.
We had a lot of...
By people, he means the people aren't here right now.
Literally. How ironic is that the two people? That's crazy. But yeah, so second night came around. We were feeling it. We knew the crowd would be into it. The place was packed. Came out, killed it. Did it again. Threw the roses in the crowd. Yet again, the ladies came up and grabbed the roses. Like, yeah, focus threw it to us, right? Now, I'm not going to name the young lady's name, but after the second show, did we have the same lunch? I think we had the same lunch. But like, she came up to us, wanted an autograph, and did this whole weird thing. Like, I don't know. It was just first time that, you know, I don't know. How would you, do y'all even remember that?
Vaguely.
Okay, well I do because she came up when I was trying to get at this girl, and she was asking for an autograph. I'm like, yo, I appreciate you, but gotta working on something here. But whatever. So we gave her the autograph. It was weird. All right, so herein lies the story itself. Final night, vaudeville, same outfits. I don't know if we cleaned them or what. Same outfits. Of course, we bought some more roses. Families are here this night, and it's going to be the coup de grace. So before the show, I turn to y'all. I'm just like, listen, you know, I think I'm going to do something a little different tonight, y'all. And being the horrible / good friends that you were, you're just like, yeah, go ahead, do your thing. Just try it out, see what happens.
Who am I to stop you from being great?
Or horrible. So if you're not familiar with the song, I'll probably play it. But the breakdown is first verse, chorus, second verse. Before the chorus, that's when, which was synonymous at the time, the deep voice guy comes on the track and starts saying, if I ever fall in love, I'll make sure that, like, yeah. So that was my part, right? So like that part came, and like, you remember that movie, Last Dragon, with Bruce Leroy, Kiss My Converse. Like I literally felt like I was glowing. Like right before it got to my part. So I stepped out and I was like, yeah. So I did my whole sexy talk part. And I got a little cocky with the roses. Maybe it was because we didn't throw the group of roses. I don't know. But I took my rose and I pointed out to the crowd because I thought I had them eat down my hand. And I was like, I want all the ladies to come to the front. All right. And shout out to one young lady in particular that did. Or at least she stood up and took 2 steps, looked around, and realized that nobody else was coming.
She took the hardest 2-step sprint.
And then turned back around.
It's like,
to which,
only me?
Yeah, to which me, I stand up. I'm like, oh, okay. This isn't happening. And then I hear a little laugh coming from the crowd. I'm like, oh, wow. The audience is laughing at me. And then I'm just like, it's all right. We still killing it. And I'm just like, the harmony sounds a little off. And I turn around, and my guys are laughing at me too. You don't remember that?
I don't recall participating.
Titus is laughing now, so he knows it happened. So I'm like, you know what? Okay, let me take this, be humble, step back or whatever. And that was it. So, you know, I told that story to point out, like, yeah, that helped me in life. Because you can never be scared to talk in front of a group of people when the worst thing in the world has already happened to you. Like,
absolutely.
You know, come on, man. Like, I literally had an auditorium laughing at me while I was trying to be sexy time over here. Like,
with your collar open.
Yeah, with my collar open.
Free buttons
in a
down.
Rows pointing to women that didn't show up. That's just bad.
It's the
just
top
bad.
3 buttons.
With no taco meat. Beautiful. It was crazy, man. It was crazy. But, you know, but it was also dope, right? So, like, one of the things I wanted to talk about was that, you know, it turned into the most random extracurricular activity ever in high school because we were all involved in different things. You know, y'all more so with the sports, me just, you know, watching the sports or whatever. And but I mean, other things, you know, like whatever. And I just thought it was a great way to keep us focused, pun intended, grounded, but, you know, just a good group of dudes, good, you know, friends hanging out at the end of the day. Yeah, musically it was dope too, but, you know, it was just hard to make it back then, man. It was hard to get everything together, 5 schedules, and we recorded one song, like we had one studio session, and the dude was so excited about our song that he tried to rearrange it and ended up like changing the sound and then wasted our studio time. So like somewhere floating on somebody's deck.
I forgot about that.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah, I didn't forget.
I didn't because I had to pay. Like that's what I remember. Well, I ain't gonna say his name, but you know the dude was moving weight, so that's why he had a studio in his basement. And I'm like, all right, whatever. So. But you know, I think overall it was dope. It was dope. So what I've been talking a lot. What do y'all remember about the whole situation, the whole thing in general?
Well, I remember that, you know, cause like I won't get into the origin. I don't think really the origin story has ever really been told. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Like me and Eric Smith was part of what they call Corral.
Oh,
around that time.
Kappa Eric, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And in Eastern, I don't really care. I'm kind of probably the most uncool person on the show. So our teacher happened to run off with a student and actually left that whole class unattended, it seemed like, for I really felt like a couple years.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, and so shout out to Eastern for allowing teenagers to young adults being really being unattended and accounted for, for hours every day throughout the school years. And so that wasn't corral anymore. That was actually, the period was called spades. You know what I'm saying? It was truth or dare. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got into a lot of different things around that time. Like Jerry Springer was popping around that time. So everything happened in that classroom. So at the time they was looking for groups that were gonna be part of the yearbook. Yeah. And me and Eric Smith, we had been singing before the teacher left. Right. And we tried to form a group, but at that time, I think we called
Jones in there?
Rocky Jones was part of that. It was called the Scouts, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was like the group that like never really happened.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Except for like the photo op.
Yeah. Shout out to the Herb Boys.
Herb Boys.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So this vaudeville thing came around, I believe either later that year or maybe I think it was the following year. Yeah. And we was like, okay, Eric, we need to put a real group together that's really gonna sing. You know what I'm saying? And so I believe we approached Teddy first. Yeah. And I'm trying to figure out how Kevin got brought in.
Y'all needed someone with stature.
Shut up.
Somebody vouched.
Sit down, be humble.
And I think I might have reached out to Chris. I think I reached out to Chris.
Okay. Because Chris was the only one that wasn't in our circle. Because we were old. All four of us were older than Chris. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But he had. He had talent then. He was. The boy is bad. That boy can sing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
He's just Chris.
It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like,
look, Ben's trying to be nice. I'll say it. Chris is Chris.
And I think I've always kind of played that role in our group. You know what I'm saying? Trying to be the peacemaker between.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But yeah, it like I said, it is what it is. But that process, really forced us to at least attempt to see if we could really, build something with our sound. You know what I'm saying? Right. And at the time, we had just gotten that teacher. You know what I'm saying? And we gave that teacher the blues. Something or whatever.
Miss Jacobs? Yeah. That's the one that Chris smacked. You remember?
I thought it was Eric that did. No, it was.
Yeah, it was Chris. After our first performance, it's not even as sinister as it sounds. Like after our first performance, curtains drew. We were hype, jumping around, and Miss Jacobs, the chorus teacher, was. I don't know why she came around us, but like for some reason, all we heard was like smack, and we looked. And Chris was just like randomly swinging his hand. He smacked the hell out of our chorus teacher. I'm like, damn, dog. That's crazy. That's crazy.
This is like 25.
Yeah. She was a young white teacher trying to do good and everything. Get out of here.
It was like
you got smacked
or something like that. She came into class trying to save the class from delinquency.
Yeah,
and we gave her the blues.
Yeah,
but she played a role in trying to like tighten up, the harmony somewhat.
Yeah.
At the time, because me, Eric, at the time, I think you had joined. Yeah. In Corral, Chris was in there, and so we had access to the tuxes. And,
that is how we got them.
Buns, and the tux shirts and all of that, and that wound up being our consistent uniform. Yeah, for vaudeville and any other performance we did.
Yeah, we was G'd up. What
I'm trying to figure out like, how did I get in this?
I think you came in before I did. Like, I don't know.
That didn't happen.
I don't know,
somebody
man.
Recruited you.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, you were somebody. Like, you were singing with Puff Daddy at the time.
True story.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That actually happened.
Yeah, man. That's crazy. So, I don't know, man. Because I don't remember the conversation for how any of us started, but I remember it worked, so. But, yeah. So, I just think that's hilarious, man. So
I think it was like Teddy, because the dude in Boyz II Men, I think his name was Mike.
yeah, the scoliosis cat. Yeah,
Is that
that's what we do it.
man?
I'm saying he has scoliosis.
But yeah, that he became like the standard. You know what I'm saying? As far as like the golden voice.
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what I'm saying? And I just think it's beautiful that, you know, Teddy has matured from being like that golden voice that we had, you know what I'm saying, for the group.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, to being like turning into like the Podfather, you know what I'm saying?
Calm down. with
Doing
that,
it with
man.
the podcast
Calm
now.
down with that. Yeah, but
Give it to him.
no, man. It was just interesting. It was just very, very. Everybody put their headphones down. Yeah. So there is a little history of Focus. We'll get to the questions a little later. We'll probably end with the questions so I can.
I'm looking forward to these questions.
Yeah, it's pretty.
It's been a while. So.
Depending on your reaction, I might tell you sent them. So we'll see. We'll see. But all right, family. Good start as always. We appreciate you hanging in with us. Stay tuned. And right now, speaking of singing, we're gonna have the choir come with a beautiful selection. So get the offering ready as the ushers come around. And God bless you. We'll be right back.
Spend the day at the spa. Anything you want. Different day, different car. Anything you want. Max out my card if you wanna. Whatever, girl, it ain't no problem, no. Take a trip on a yacht. Anywhere you want. Lead them bags, we're gonna shop. Anywhere you want. Girl, you know I'll do whatever it takes. You know I love you like I used to love cake. Would you be cool if things changed? If I didn't roll the Benz and you didn't push the rain. I know what we got's gon' last, babe. Don't be mad, but I still gotta ask. What if I was broke? What if I was slim? What if I couldn't sing and I didn't win? What if I had to catch the bus? I still stay with my mama, so there ain't no making love. Baby, what if I had to use the payphone just to get my game on? Would you still wanna put it on me? What if, what if, what if? What if, what if, what if, yeah. Take the keys to my crib. Anytime you want. Just come over, take a dip. Anytime you want. How much you need, girl, I'ma front you. There ain't no limit to what I'll do, no. I'ma break you off with a ghetto love. Take your time, it ain't no rush. I'm not trying to do nothing to mess it up, but if I do, I'll spend $4 million to make it up. Would you be cool if things change? Would you be cool? I didn't roll the Benz and you didn't push the rain. I know what we got's gon' last. Don't be mad, but I gotta ask you, yeah. Oh, what if? Would you still love me, babe?
Praise God. Praise God. Thank y'all for coming with that beautiful, beautiful song. The children's ministry is going to be singing next week, so everyone get their yellow together. All right, so back with our special guests, we have Ben and Titus and myself. We are collectively 3/5 of the group Focus. Which can we give the history of the name real quick? So we were trying to figure out the name, like a way, like a good name, and I think we had a couple of running options, right? Mm-hmm. I remember. Let me see. We had Focus, and then we had another one. I can't remember, but when we did finally decide on Focus, like nobody shot it down. We're like, yeah, that's good. That's good. So we would often, like after school, we would either pile in my car, the 92 Taurus. Shout out to the Taurus.
The Bullet, bro.
Yeah, Silver Bullet, man. Silver Bullet. Best cloth seats you ever seen in your life. So, but you know, we would go to like Biggs or somewhere and you know, rehearse and whatever. But like after we decided while in the car, shout out to Chris, who then said we can spell it FOKCUS, so they can follow with us. Like, you dummy. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
You remember that? Yeah.
Absent for that.
No, you were there. You were there. Let me tell you why you were there. Because you stopped us.
You stopped
us because we started beating him.
Yes.
Like, how dare you, dog?
You got to be the peacekeeper on that one. Yes.
I'm like,
Which was a constant
how
thing.
dare
is
you?
Chris saying something ridiculous.
Us
Eric
wanting to
and
fight
Teddy
him.
going crazy. Me
Ben-
watching, and
Ben
Ben's like,
stopping.
"No, guys, let's get along."
Hey, I honestly didn't. I probably would have participated.
But you know, we were also. I feel like Chris being the younger, and of course we won't go into it because we mentioned. As a matter of fact, the irony, right? We didn't even do this on purpose. We mentioned that that Chris couldn't be here because he's busy, but one of the guys that was originally in focus, Rock Jones. Chris is now engaged to his little sister. So
Hey, that's
shout
crazy.
out. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I didn't
It
think
wasn't.
about
Now,
that.
technically, it wasn't Focus. It was Scouts.
Scout. I'm
But
sorry.
But it was
Yeah.
like the precursor to Focus.
Yeah, man.
That's crazy. Like,
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
You can't make that up, bro.
I'm saying. So, you know, but at the time, before Chris found love and a great woman to be with, like, you know, we would often give him the gentlest of advice when it came to women back in high school.
So gentle.
And by gentle, we mean Chris was the
Punching bag.
Chris. How do you describe Chris dating in high school? Chris was the. So if anybody's listening and you have a
Y'all going in
friend,
tonight, man.
yeah, listen, he's not here.
Shoulda came.
The people need to know. Wow. All right, Chris was the guy that would fall in love, be very in love,
Hard.
yes,
All the way.
and he would be blinded by said love.
So blinded.
And
So focused
Are we naming names?
on the wrong thing.
just his. Yeah, no, we can describe, but not name names. And you know, we were there to gently try to get him right on the path of not being a lame, which is hard. It was hard at times because naturally he wants to go into the lame lane.
That's how we spent at least. So I mean, think of this. This is high school, right, guys?
Yeah, sure.
So you know, you're in class all day. You know, people are playing sports, got stuff. So the time that we had to rehearse and get together and do things was so limited.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
we spent at least the first hour and a half of every rehearsal
Yeah.
corralling him.
All right, because this is the last thing I'll say about Chris. I won't go in anymore. But like, this is how it would always start. We'll be standing around. Maybe one of us would be late, or we're trying to decide what song we want to do. Because we would write songs, but like after we wrote it, then we have to try to figure out how to arrange it, and you know, like all this other stuff. And your aunt was great at helping us for that.
yeah,
by the way,
yeah.
she was dope. But anyway, so we would be sitting around and be quiet, just like this, like be looking down at lyrics or something, and then Chris would just look up and say something like, "Hey, have y'all ever been in love, dog? like the love that like you can't sleep, and you just want to eat all your meals with them, like that type of love, dog. Like y'all ever been in love?" And our response was genuine, in which we say, "Shut up,
Chris." No, but you don't understand. I just need to see you though. Oh.
All right, now,
Okay.
fashionably as I usually do.
Okay.
To his defense.
Okay,
I think
please
to
tell.
Chris-
How did you defend that? Go
all
ahead.
right,
Go ahead.
To Chris's unfortunate demise in the short stint of the time that we had the group. Unfortunately, a movie came out that dwarfed his growth in communication.
It was
Oh, yeah.
it was
For some
literally
years. That's true.
It was
That's
literally his guidebook. And if you think we joking, ask anybody who went to Eastern from 1996 to 2002.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they will tell you that the movie Pootie Tang is literally what he patterned his life after. That's ridiculous to even say,
is.
dog.
Absolutely.
It's kind of scary, actually.
So like
That actually should become a show. Like,
an R&B singer that patterns his life after Pootie sex. So like, so like, Chris had a different language. So where
Thanks.
me being and Tice would see each other, it was like, hey, what's going on, bro? You know, dap each other up. It's a wrap.
Mm-hmm.
We would see Chris, and he would hold his hand out
And shake
it side to side and say, "What a time my dame is." Right?
On the running kind.
How are we not supposed to beat him up? Seriously.
Sadate.
How are we not supposed to beat him up? Wadate on the running style.
Yes.
Like all these things. And this was pre-internet.
And this is dead serious.
Like,
this
yeah.
This is not
Yeah.
every day,
all day. This
Chris.
is him.
You know what this was? So, and we would also like rehearse over at different people's houses. So like we'd be over Chris's house or something. And, you know, like literally we would ask Chris like, hey, you know, on this next part when we branch off, we're going for different octaves but same harmony.
Mm-hmm.
You do your lead run and then we'll bring it around to the pre-chorus. He's just like, oh, I could put some Damie on it. Stussy though. Stussy.
Yes.
These are literally things.
Eric's getting mad right now.
Yeah, yeah. And Cap and Eric is over there. This was what?
I know it's unorthodox, man, but I really would love if we could just call him and just let the listener audience.
Oh yeah, we can do that.
Hear him.
Yeah, we can do that. No, because
people
they'll
just wouldn't
think
believe it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, they'll think we're making this up. Like yeah. Like it's real. I can do that here in a little bit. Matter of fact, that'll be the last segment. We'll call them both and see what happens. All right, so yeah, that is a good history. So like one of the stories I wanted to tell is when we got hired to sing at our first wedding.
Oh yeah.
Right? And we went down to Bowling Green, Kentucky, which from Louisville to Bowling Green is like 2 hours or something like that, right? Yeah. So close to Nashville if you're looking on the map. And, they got us a hotel room for the night. We went down the night before. We went through the whole dress rehearsal thing. And after we did that, we went, like, if anybody, I don't know where you're listening to this, but if you've ever lived in a country or rural area, most of the parties are thrown at the Armory or like, a field party or something like that.
Or a hangar, like in the airport.
Right. So Bowling Green is a pretty big military town. So there was a party that night at the Armory, and we went to, and it was
Hole in the
was
wall.
jumping.
I just remember we was like high schoolers, and we just like, yo, like,
Bro, I swear we developed that dance. I don't care what nobody said, bro.
yeah,
Like that dance, like when you dancing with a female,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? That,
And then you
that
lean back.
grind, and then you lean back and your homeboy hugs you.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And she just rides you, bro. Like what?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
That was.
I mean, listen, this
I
is.
think we patent that, bro.
Yeah, I'm just saying, this is before Jesus had our heart, and we were respectable men that you know right now.
I'm just saying, like I might be the most uncool dude on the radio right now, bro. And I'm newly married. I'm just saying.
That's
I'm
right.
That night, bro.
So we had fun. Let's just say that. We had fun. And afterwards, we didn't have any chaperones, so we were just out.
That's what I'm. Who sends high schoolers to Bowling Green and gives them a hotel room? It's like, yeah, go sing in this wedding. But until then, you know what?
Just good luck.
You guys are like 16, 17 years old. Be
Do
great.
your thing. And I remember, like, because I didn't know if my car would make it down there, but it did.
It did.
Shout out to Silver Bullet.
It might have been its demise.
And I also want to say that we had, we had some responsible, people that was looking out for us that,
Sure.
nobody was going to mess with them.
Nah. Oh, that's right. Because that night, yo, it sounds like we going in on Chris. We ain't even talking about Chris this time.
It's the purpose of why we was down there. Whose wedding was it?
It was his uncle.
His people's.
Yeah.
his people's.
So like, they had like a barbecue or something they invited us to. And all we remember, and we'll leave names out of it, right? But there was a member of Chris's family who said something to Chris's little sister, right? And when this member said something to Chris's little sister, before they could respond, Chris's mom, who we affectionately call Mama T now to this day.
Absolutely.
Like I saw her not that long ago, I was like, Mama T, what's going on? And that stands for Mama Tyson, right? Because we found out two things. One, you don't mess with her daughter. And two, that she's a lefty. I didn't know she was a lefty. And we found that out because she said something like, yo, B, you're not going to talk to my daughter. And like, you know, when somebody knows how to fight, when they do that duck under first, and then they come back with the mean left hook, she caught that cousin or whoever the hell it was, and it was like, boom. So it happened so quick. I don't. Do y'all remember what you were doing? Because I remember what I was doing.
We was out there chilling.
Yeah, we was like, we had barbecue. I mean, it's a cookout.
Yeah.
But like, I remember it happened so quick. I just grabbed the kid. All I could do was grab the kid.
Just grab and hold on. Like,
We're like, wait, don't go over there. And the kid's like, I'm not. I'm like, I don't know why I'm still holding you. It's just like she just, whoa, that was a hell of a punch.
It's going down.
Yeah, man. So, you know, like, but shout out to the cousin, even though she got stolen on, she didn't call the police. So
No.
it was just one of those things that happened.
where she was.
Yeah, that wouldn't have gone great. So that, and then the other thing about Bowling Green, I remember for that job was we were in Waffle House. Mm-hmm. We were in Waffle House after the Armory. Who knew what time it was, knowing that we had to get up early to sing at a wedding. But, you know, somebody else had a wild night because the way that the seats were, I think Eric was the first to see it. I was right by Eric, and then the other three were right around the table. So Eric gives me an elbow, and he tells me to look up. And I'm like, what? I'm thinking it's a cute girl or something. And this dude walked in with no shirt, a cigarette hanging out of his mouth. And when I say his eye had its own zip code, like somebody literally drew an X on his eye and just hit it over and over and over again. I'm like, ooh, like, okay, here's a reference. Like, you remember the episode of Martin where Martin came after he boxed with, like, that's what he looked like. Like, this dude got that work. So here's how dumb we were. Like, he came in, obviously he lost. He's not in a great mood. But, like, we couldn't stop laughing at him.
No.
And he sat right
my
by
back
us.
is turned to him. Who else's back was it? Chris's back.
Chris's.
Yeah.
Thankfully.
We didn't know, and they like, bruh, turn around. Don't turn around yet. But before you turn around. Don't laugh.
Yeah.
Just whatever you do, just don't laugh. And so, naturally, I'm just expecting to just like explode with laughter, especially because we didn't had all these eventful.
Yeah.
We didn't had that was that same night.
Patented a dance.
Yeah,
sure.
man. That was, and Bowling Green is not that bad, y'all. That was like the motto.
Bowling Green is not that bad. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because all kind of crazy things was going on.
Too.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And so I turn around, man, and I see dude's eye just wanging, man. I'm like, I couldn't do nothing but just explode, man. Just with, with laughter, man. That night was crazy. And dude was super salty, bro.
Oh yeah.
At that time, we was just kind of like, you obviously ain't got it, bro.
You don't want to take two L's on the same night.
Right,
You just gonna take the fact some high schools laughing at you, man.
And I think Chris act the fool too.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
I think we had to corral him in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Oh man. So like it's it's one of those things where we've all gone to be successful in different things, and Chris still does music. He's still doing his thing, but like for the most part, we like that was a dope thing that we did. And I think looking back, what was so great about it was you always hear when a pro athlete retires, they talk about the camaraderie, like the brotherhood. And for us, that's what it was. Absolutely. You know, and to this day, like proof of that is, you know, if you look on the feed and there's an episode called Mary S where it's me talking about Eric's mom and her passing away, and what not only this group meant to me, but what she meant to us. And she was one of the group mothers, you know, that always kept us together and cooked for us. Man, shout out to that fried chicken, man. And, you know, did all this other great stuff, but supported us more so than anything, because we were doing something positive and having fun, you know, good group of dudes. And I think, you know, when she passed away, that was the first time all of us were in the same spot. Mm-hmm. You know, I know most of us missed Titus. Like, you were there early, but you had to row. Mm-hmm. But, you know, our brother needed help. We were there, you know, and that's just one of those things, man. So it was fun, funny, a lot. And I think there's hella stories, man. Hella stories. So, yeah, what we're going to do is take one more break. One more break, y'all. We're going to have senior citizens come. And if you know the song, clap along. We appreciate y'all. And give us one more minute. We'll be right back.
It takes control of me when I see love in your eyes. You're like a springtime breeze. You send chills through me, a natural high. It's just the way you've been, my best friend, right by my side. And there's no one else like him, baby. Last night I realized that's why. Last night I fell in love. Say I fell in love with you again and again, yeah.
I fell in love with you.
It was unbelievable when you touched me so tenderly. Your kiss was so sweet, and though you will never know, it was like a dream. I hope that it will never end. Please do it again, 'cause it feels so right. I need someone to pinch me, please, 'cause I can't believe it happened in one night. Yeah. First time, it would be only right if we just live our life side by side. 'Cause last night I fell in love.
All right, welcome back. And two of my favorite guests that have ever appeared are back. Young Mr. Titus, as well as Ben. All right, guys. Here's the point where the public that remembers Focus wanted to talk back and give a couple of questions. So feel free to do with this as you may. Okay. First question is the group Focus. Where would you rank that group compared to the contemporary groups at the time?
At the time?
Yeah, at the time.
So we're talking about Jagged Edge, 112. Boyz II Men have been phased out by that time.
Yeah, I think that's
Was
it.
Boyz II Men phased out?
Yeah.
Well, they had one more album that they came out with, but like they were on the decline.
that
They were
was-
on the decline.
That was an Evolution album.
The Who. Yeah.
yeah.
What's the name? Cisco and
Drew Hill.
Yeah, Drew
Next.
Hill.
Yep. So, I mean, I guess they're asking, where do we think, like, how good do we think we were, essentially?
Okay.
I would definitely say that we was cold. I'm gonna say that because a lot of these artists, for one, they're not producers.
Yeah.
2, they don't write their own stuff.
Yeah.
And 3, a lot of the actual album work is really just the main lead singer just really doubling up his voice.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Shout out to people like, Destiny Child and some of these other things. Like, even though they could sing, like, it's just really just, them
It's the
queuing
lead.
up the lead singer to kind of like, be
Do
on
that
their
thing,
own,
right.
You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
I think that we definitely, as a group, being young, we had the opportunity to develop as a group. A lot of these other groups get thrown together, you know what I'm saying, to, fulfill some record execs, ambition. You know what I'm saying? So I really think that we had a grassroots attempt at, an R&B group. So I would definitely say that maybe we're not necessarily industry worthy then, but I definitely believe that we did have the potential that if we had did what we did in another city, you know what I'm saying, and it would, no shade on Louisville, but it's really hard to break in Louisville. You know what I'm saying? As a solo act, much less a group. And just everybody knows that from the circumstantial evidence that they've seen a lot of talented people, that never really did anything in the city. So I definitely think that we had just as much talent as a lot of people.
We're so much better than most of those groups.
Leave it to Titus.
Yeah, I mean,
no,
we had more than one person that could lead a song.
Yeah,
it's a fact.
It wasn't the same person every time. Chris was uber talented, and we let him. But everyone led something. Actually, he probably should have led. If it was a different group, he'd have led everything all the time.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's one of the differences, and I think what I told this person, I'll let you know, is that I'm like, the thing that didn't come out is like our pens was pretty strong.
Yeah.
Pretty strong, man. Like everybody could do it, and that was rare. So,
and we studied good. We studied good artists. You know what I'm saying? Like, we would break down albums. You know what I'm saying? And say, like, you see how they did that? Like, we could do that with this.
I still, to this day, love going through a good album cover, album notes. Like, that's...
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. All right, so next question. What is everyone doing now creatively? Like, creatively is what they're asking. So, me, obviously, this, podcasting and just working on that, helping people grow, all that good stuff. I know you definitely doing some stuff. Yeah,
I mean, like, I love art. Art's always going to be a part of my life. Mm-hmm. Music's always going to be a part of my life. I kind of, we kind of discussed that a little briefly.
Yeah.
I kind of fell out of love as much with singing or the singing part of music as I started to fall in love with the production side. And, naturally, and even, by trade, I'm a teacher now. So I like to teach and to push messages, by being able to bring artists together. And a lot of time, either whether they be rappers or even R&B artists, you got these big personalities and trying to, you got the advent of these DJ Khaled's and some of these other people, you know what I'm saying?
What does Khaled do about it? Does he produce? He doesn't even produce, does he? He just...
Here nor there. Hey, we might get our brother Chris on one of his mixtapes.
Okay, I'm not throwing, I don't get it.
Axel Rich and whatnot, but
I just don't get it.
All I'm saying is that it's really hard to get those artists together on the track. You had a lot of producers back in the day, that were able to do that. Berry Gordy, some of these other big names. They were able to get like big artists together on the same track or in the same compilation. You know what I'm saying? And so where I find that the internet has made a way for what people call piracy, some people call expropriation. I can get some bunch of other fancy words for just jacking your shit, your stuff,
Right.
But the reality is that I found a way, or I found a niche with working with youth to take a lot of popular artists and intertwine them with positive messages, with speeches and great thinkers from back in the day, and presenting in a creative presentation, for the audience. You know what I'm saying? So between that, and a couple of other things.
Yo, I mentioned I was in your wedding not that long ago. I mean,
yeah,
that's one of the reasons you got your wife, isn't it?
Yeah, that's crazy. So when I was in Louisville, just for reference sake, I left about 12 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Has it been 12 years?
Yeah. I mean, because we've been together about 12 years now.
Yeah.
But the only thing that really kept me grounded was music, for the most part. But I found out in life early on that there's a lot that I needed to experience, and in that, you learn how to master, the different sides of you. We, off air, we talked about the dark parts of our life. You know what I'm saying? Where once you know that dark part of your life, you say like, stay over there, get in the closet. You know what I'm saying? And so there was a period where I had to master that. You know what I'm saying? But music always kind of. And see, we ain't even get in on Titus though.
Look, they trying to bring up my dark side. Go on, finish your point.
It's all good. The pod father.
Everyone's lives. No one's safe.
Go, yeah.
So. That was one of the things that I had good people like Miss Mary.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That took me in when I was I was out here running wild. You know what I'm saying? And I had good people around me that was like, man, you need to get out of the city, man. Like, it's you just keep on getting in trouble, and you need to change your horizons. And at the time, I had believed that that God had called me to put these lightweight podcasts together, pre-recorded productions, and do a couple of different volumes and mass burn them and just go all around the city and just hand them out. Yeah. It was called Get Your Black History and Black His Story. Yeah. And I think it was 4 volumes of that, and I went all over the city. I handed out about 500 CDs all around the city for free, just handing them out.
Which city?
Louisville.
Oh, okay.
This is Louisville.
I thought this was Cincy.
And, long story short, I had hooked up with 2 different people. One, me, even Eric, and it was like, hey, man, there's this sister. She real passionate. You coming into consciousness, or what people call woke now. Right. There's this other sister. She just as passionate. She remind me of you.
Yo, you've been woke
for
12 years now? Cats just waking up now, man.
Nah, I've been woke longer than that. I got forced to wake up. You know what I'm
saying? So, matter of fact, the other brother you mentioned, he's gonna eventually be on the podcast. Shout out to Brandon, right?
Yeah, Brandon Hill.
Okay, yeah.
So
shout out to Brandon.
Brandon Hill. I mean, I'm not gonna go into that long story. How crazy life is, and they connect you to other people that you need to meet. Yeah. But he wind up knowing this randomly. He knew this same sister that Erica put me on to. And I just happened to have those mixtapes that I had produced. And I strategically, was the jerk and try to,
Now I'm on my way to work. Got into my car, started up, drove off. Now I'm on the road. That's when I pulled up to this gas station and got into this conversation with this girl. I could tell she wanted me, but oh, if I met you when I was single, we probably could have been something more. 'Cause you're beautiful. She cracked a smile and she said she understood, and I sympathized, 'cause every man she had was never any good. It's so amazing how much you could learn in just a bit of time. Like how I see me and her in my mind. That's why I need to pull out of this gas station. 'Cause after this conversation with you, girl, I might just do something I don't wanna do. 'Cause if I when I was single. We probably could have been something more, 'cause you're beautiful. But you should know that I found my girl. Yeah, and I know it's such a shame you can't even entertain the things you feel. Don't feel bad, 'cause I feel the same. It would just be wasted time trying to find if life's
Make her
real
mad, but at
on
the
the
same time, I gave her a
other
little love
side.
opportunity, and that's what I won her over.
See.
Friends here, she was like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, shout out to that, man. Shout out to creativity.
so, you know,
Listen, I mean, really, you're saying,
if I ever fell in love,
Titus, what creative outlets these days do you have?
Creativity has never been something I've been great at. So
Yeah,
while you guys were uber talented from the creative standpoint,
you were organized.
I was organized.
Yeah.
I was the glue.
Yeah,
I was the structure guy. So really, since I haven't really done anything,
you say that, but like you were the one that arranged the harmonies most of the time.
yeah. Again, structure, man.
Yeah, well,
You guys come up with it, I'll make it sound good. Not vocally, but I'll tell you what key to sing in. No, I haven't really done anything too creative since we did local MCs.
Shout out to
local MCs.
We bring it back at all local MCs. Yeah.
So from a creative standpoint, I haven't done much, but I'm still working through church and through other things as far as arranging and the behind the scenes working the board, just making sure things run smoothly and putting that touch on it.
Real quick, I don't know if you knew that we've been,
I might be the only one that still sings too. That's in this room.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, long story. But I don't know if you know that we're in the presence of greatness. Titus is an elder now at a church.
Whatever.
What type of church would make you an elder? That's amazing.
I didn't heard there.
I'm gonna go. Shout out to your pastor, Jamel. I'm gonna tell him some stories, man. I'll be like, let me tell you about your elder.
Oh, no.
All right, last question we're gonna ask. So this person asked, because they know us well enough to know this, but because I didn't even answer this one, but because we're all married here, so yeah, I said they asked if our wives know about Focus, and if so, how much do they know?
I mean, my wife know a good deal.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, like some of the members were responsible for us getting together, So.
Yeah. You know what? While you thinking, mine knows about it. Mine knows about it, but like, it's funny because it's like she ignores the music part of it.
Which is
like,
hard to do.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying like, when even after Focus, like, I went down to Orlando and learned studio engineering and, was back and forth from there in Atlanta and a couple other places. But like, it just doesn't come up a lot when you're trying to meal plan for the week. You know what I'm saying? Like it's hard these days. So I didn't think about it till they asked, but no.
But now it paid off.
Yeah. That's what.
Mine may or may not know that it ever existed. I think she knows that at some point in time, me and my friends sang.
Yeah.
I don't know. If I asked her what Focus was, she'd be like, "You probably need to focus on these dishes."
No.
Like that's
Focus
how you
on
know she's a
cleaning
black
this
mom. You know what I'm saying? Like black moms are the best at using whatever verb that you verb or adjective.
I think my wife, she actually at some point she doesn't like to hear about it because I don't sing no more. She's like, "You the same for all these women."
Ooh, yeah.
and like you ain't singing them. Like
That's
you ain't gonna
interesting.
serenade me. That type
That's
thing.
interesting. That's interesting. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's safe. That's safe. It's smart on your part. Don't tell the listeners. So, Yeah, so that's good. That's good. So that's it, man. I'm gonna try to respect y'all's time. Y'all been more than nice with giving me this much time. So I appreciate you brothers coming on. Listen, man, love y'all, proud of y'all. Keep on doing your thing. And now, here's the thing that I know you're trying to be humble and not mention it, but you, your wife and son are going on a pretty big excursion here relatively soon, right?
Definitely.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about that before we roll.
Well, when I'm hooked up with my wife, she'd actually gotten back from Ghana.
Okay.
I did my little international thing, been in the military, you know what I'm saying? And so we had that in common. Who knew, like, in 2011, we go back to Ghana, in Africa or whatnot. And we had great success working with youth.
Yeah.
Work with youth in the city through a couple of different programs, a couple of different organizations. And so now that we've had our son, we're going to have him there. So we're very anxious to get him back, we got a family over there in Ghana. So we want to definitely get him really cultured, if you will.
Yeah, man.
But at the same time, we want to continue to expand our operations as far as the organization, as far as teaching and whatnot, but also business. There's a lot of investment that is crazy. Africa's the future, man, that people don't know. I know y'all go into politics a little bit on the show, and I never really heard y'all talk about this, but for real, like, Africa the future, man. Like, people like peeping like that Black Panther movie. You know what I'm saying? That's just like a taste.
Yeah, Wakanda.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's just like really a taste of like where it's going, man. The reality is that the biggest things that are in the way of Africa's development, one is palatable water. And now the technology exists where you can basically turn this salt water into drinkable water.
You see what Akon's been doing?
Yeah. I mean, with China and whatnot, and that's it's a beautiful thing. But the reality is that technology is exploding at such a fast rate that there's all of these untapped, beautiful minds that are really going to like really take hold of Africa's growth. Okay. And there's just going to be plenty of room for it to become like a big, huge Wakanda. And a lot of people that are investors, people that are that they analyze trends and global trends and whatnot, they understand that Africa is the future. You know what I'm saying? And they're trying to get their roots in there early as trailblazers so that they can control the growth, so they can be in the front of it. So, it takes trailblazers, you know what I'm saying, from our ancestry to go back and ensure that it's done in the best interest, of our people. You know what I'm saying? And me and my wife have took the efforts to doing that, some years ago, and we intend to continue that on. So, we're definitely looking for support. And I appreciate, giving me the, your audience base to be able to share that. Absolutely. If,
and what we'll do is put the information in the show notes, and I just know it's great work, man. I had a chance to kick it with y'all at the at the wedding, and I learned a lot more about what you do and the commitment, and I think it's incredible, man. I really do. And now that I know that you are going to go over to Ghana and do incredible work, maybe you can be the inside track when Wakanda opens up. Like, I kind of want to go there.
Well,
do you know the Black Panther is what I'm asking? Yes or no?
I can't say.
Okay, see, he knows him. He knows him, dog. He knows him. I know he knows him.
Lightweight Parkman, man. Like, the Podfather over here, like, lightweight. He making things happen, man.
Hey, man, I am not the Black Panther because I'm pretty sure he's in shape. Right? The Black Panther doesn't. Black Panther can make it twice around the neighborhood without getting out of breath.
Be the best disguise, though.
No, it wouldn't
Absolutely.
be. It's not Men in Black where you can like use a zipper to take off the fat of your body. Like, that's not.
Stupid.
I'm not the Black Panther, I guarantee you. Titus, what man? I appreciate you coming. Anything you wanna leave the people with, and
go in love, man. Go in love.
Do we call you Elder Titus?
No, absolutely not. You're so ridiculous.
What goes into being elder? Tell me.
Yeah, I'm choir member.
Does that make you? Does that automatically when they come to you, it's like, hey, Titus, we want you to be an elder of this church. Listen. We want you to be the rock upon which we build this church. Do you automatically age a decade? Is that how it works?
Do you get to like eat first?
Like how? Yeah.
How? Listen.
Do you sacrifice goats? Tell me the truth. I don't know how that works. All right. Well, okay. That's okay. I know you can't say it live. We'll talk about it offline. Ridiculous. So, as always, appreciate y'all joining us. Eric and Chris could not be here. Maybe we'll make it on there one more time. So, yeah.
Hey, they ain't here. Okay.
Yeah.
But you know, I do want to say that both of them brothers, they didn't get to really share, you know, their story. But they doing beautiful things, you know what I'm saying? They didn't get the opportunity to answer those questions.
Yeah.
But, you know, Eric, somebody that, you know, I would have never seen it coming, ever.
Yeah. He's a preacher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's literally a pastor.
Out of all of us.
I know. No, Eric uses the King's English to try to...
It's beautiful, though.
Yeah, he's legitimately good.
We haven't went into his dark side. But he converted his dark side.
That's right. He I know he said he called me and he's just like, bruh, you know, I think I've been called to preach. And you know, he told me later on, he's like, I expected you to, you know, like question it and tell me like that's crazy. But my response is like, that's great. Do your thing, man. And I was just like, yeah, you know why? Because I'm like, who better to tell the world about all the evils than somebody who's done them all? Like, shout out to you. Shout out to you, man.
The other thing is that who would have thought that all, because when we talked about, you know, everyone writing stuff.
Yeah.
Someone that was so gifted with words.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, we were like, what is he going to do with that? And we found out finally.
Because he would just randomly, Eric is just, like, if I was ever his teacher, I would be so frustrated with that dude, because the guy has incredible gifts when it comes to writing and speaking, and he's got a mind that can connect all different things to something, and you know. But the other thing I will say this, and we'll we'll leave the show on this note, is that the irony of us naming the group Focus is that most of us had ADD.
3.5 of the most unfocused people ever.
ADD. It's real.
Named Focus.
I thought that was the purpose of us being named.
Yeah, because we couldn't focus. Like like we had meetings. Shout out, we were like in high school, we were like white people in corporate America. Like we had meetings about our meetings. Like we need to do better.
So frustrating.
Yeah. Shout out to Focus. But all right, y'all. As always, you can reach out at Teddy_D_ on Twitter. Shout out to Kai Love. You can also reach out on Instagram, Dwight Ted. That's the government mixed with the Nick. That's what I do. Please email at thewhynotpodcast@gmail.com and leave a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts and anywhere where you find great podcasts in these streets. Shout out to the homie Britton, who just started his podcast and is doing really well. So we will be putting that in the show notes and giving him some love too. As always, from the great city of Louisville and the not so great state of Kentucky, this is another episode. We'll get to y'all next time. Peace.
You can't make me doubt him.
You know I
know too much about him.
My life,
oh my life,
is in God's hands.
Life is in His hands.
Don't you know my
life is in His hands?
Is in God's hands.
Life is in His hands.
You know my
life is in His hands.
Is in God's hands.
Life is in His hands. Oh, you can't make me doubt Him.
You know I
know too much about Him.
My life,
oh my life,
is in God's hands.
Life is in His hands. Trouble in my way, trouble in my way. I had to cry sometime. I have to cry sometime. Oh, so much trouble in my way. I had to cry sometime. I have to cry sometime. Laid awake at night. Laid awake at night. But that's alright. That's alright. I know know Jesus, he will fix it. After a while, after a while.
Stepped in the furnace. Long time ago. Oh yeah.
Time ago.
Shadrach and Meshach. And Abednego. They wasn't worried. This I know. I know Jesus.
Jesus, he will fix it.
I know Jesus.
Jesus, he will fix it.
I know that
Jesus, he will fix it.
After a while.
After a while.
Oh,
You can't make me doubt him. I know too much about him.
My life.
Oh, 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 my life.
It's in God's hand.
Life is in